So according to a recent article by People.com, only 14% of Americans are very happy. And this is the lowest it's been since the early 70s. And what may be shocking to some of you is that 80% of the people who claim they're not happy said it had nothing to do with their financial situation. Now, when I saw this, I immediately felt huge amounts of empathy for those 80% because I know exactly how they feel. I would say that from my mid-teens to early 30s, I was a very depressed, negative, and lost soul. I'd buy things that I thought would make me happy, or I'd escape into TV, or I'd be drinking, and all these things worked to a certain degree, but they were all very temporary results. Does this sound like you? Do you want to be happy, but you feel like there's just something holding you back? If so, I really hope you'll continue watching. Hey, what's up you guys? Kamo here, back with another video where we explore the methods and means that help us be the best versions of ourselves so that we can positively impact the lives of others. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing some insights and some possibly deep cuts for some of you that, despite the fact that it may sting a little bit to hear now, but by the end will hopefully allow you to be able to let the past and all that unnecessary baggage full of shit that's attached to it go. As well as owning up to your own karma, which I'll explain later in the video what that means. And when you do that, it is like having a huge weight fall off your shoulders. Or like me falling off your shoulders. I knew someone was thinking it, so I just thought I'd get ahead of it and say it myself. But what's even cooler is by letting all that shit go, you'll finally be at a place mentally, emotionally, and spiritually where you're excited, optimistic, and ready to receive all the possibilities that life has to offer you, not in a year or 5 years or 10 years from now, but like right now. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So like I mentioned earlier, I was really depressed, and all I wanted every single day of my life was to be happy again like I was when I was a kid. But no matter how hard I tried, I could not let go of my past and all these things that happened to me. Within the course of like 6 months, I had lost my best friend. I had found out that a close friend of mine had been lying to me over a year and kind of made me look like an idiot. And I got fired from a job I had been at for a really long time and I thought was going to be out for a really long time. So all that within the 6 month time frame, and I really feel like the rug was just pulled out from under me, and I just could not stop reliving this pain. Literally, I would wake up every day just thinking about all these things that happened to me and all this pain I was feeling inside. And I finally realized one day that if I don't change this about myself, I am going to be miserable, broke, and alone for the rest of my life. And the thought of that scared the crap out of me. And then I had two different things happen to me about 10 years apart, but both of them are equally responsible for changing my entire outlook on life. The first one was, and I'm going to use a saying here from Lao Tzu, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, because that's when I met Joe. And Joe was really vital in helping me with 3 key areas where I was really lacking. Joe's the first person that ever talked to me about meditation and really showed me what it was. I really didn't understand it from an outsider's perspective, but once I learned about it and got into it, it really helped me with being present and in the moment. And Joe was also the one that pushed me to start doing stand-up, literally pushed me to start doing stand-up. And without that, I don't think I would have ever had the self-awareness that I do now. And the final thing Joe taught me, which I feel was probably the biggest thing that helped me in my life, was owning up to my own karma. And that was basically just a fancy way of saying that you're responsible for your thoughts, actions, and behaviors. Even if you feel like it's all outward things that keep happening to you and keep screwing you over and you have no control over, once you own up to your karma, you'll realize how you are actually attracting those things to you. So with Joe's help, I really was able to finally let go of the past, and he really taught me how to take any negative thing that happened to me in my life and how to shift my perspective on it and usually make a joke out of it or just look at it in a different way that it didn't make me, spiral downwards into, depression again. But I still hadn't figured out how to make good things happen in my life or how to allow good things to come in. In sports terms, you could say, now I'm great at defense, but I have no offense. That made sense, right? I'm not that into sports. Then I found, or I should say reconnected to Jesus Christ, because I would go to church as a kid because my parents would take me, but then they stopped going, so I stopped going. And then I started going up again after high school because I was trying to meet girls, and I think they could see right through my game. Hey, what's up, ladies? After worship, you want to go see that new teen comedy? I heard the guy has sex with pie. Hey, where are you going? And once I started up again for the right reasons, it really showed me where I had been lacking in life and how I had not been doing the things necessary to allow good things to come into my life. It really showed me about forgiveness because while I had gotten great at forgetting things and letting things go, I realized I actually never truly forgave any of the people that hurt me in the past or even forgave myself for letting myself be in those situations to begin with. And going back to church really did show me, and I know this is going to sound ironic, that everybody really is battling their own demons. Nobody's really necessarily out to get you. And the last thing it did, which I almost feel like is it broke a myth that I had for my whole life, is that you don't have to sell your soul to be successful in life. So when you take all those things, where Joe showed me meditation and how to quiet your mind and be present in the moment so you can kind of really see and experience what the world is trying to teach you and show you. And by Joe getting me to do stand-up again, that really shifted my perspective on negativity and negative things happening in my life. The second tragedy happens, I'm the first one to try and look at it in a different way to make it funny or find the humor in it. And that is a very, very powerful weapon. As a matter of fact, in one of my favorite books by Dan Millman called Peaceful Warrior, one of the 3 rules of life is humor. It says, have a sense of humor, especially about yourself. It is a strength beyond all measures, and I 100% agree with that. Because I'm not sure I really realized it then, but I realize it now that once you have self-awareness and you have a great sense of humor, especially about yourself, that really takes a lot of the power out of the hands of other people that can try and use that to hurt you. And when Joe showed me about owning my karma, which is all just about taking responsibility for your feelings, that is such a huge adversary to have, because not only does it take all the control back to you, because I don't know if you know the expression, like when you're pointing your finger at somebody, there's 4 pointing back in you, but it's really true. But also it's about letting yourself be happy, right? Because like I was constantly throwing myself a pity party every single day, reliving things from my past. And he just made it very clear that the past was gone. The past was over. Like the past had already moved on. I was the one that was still holding on to it and choosing to relive it every single day. I was choosing to be miserable. And I didn't realize that then. I really thought that I'm not choosing to be miserable. That stuff is making you miserable. But he was like, yeah, but that stuff is not here with you right now. That stuff is over there. You're reliving it. You're thinking about it. And it just helps you own up, like I said, to anything that's happening to you in life, whether it's good or bad. Because ultimately, if you don't take responsibility for the things that are happening to you, then you have no control over them. Once you have ownership over the bad things and the good things that happen to you, you now have some control over it. If I'm putting all my blame for my unhappiness because of my job, let's say, then I'm never going to be happy because I'm putting all of my expectations for me to be happy on my job. Unless my job's going to change, I'm never going to be happy. But if I choose to look at that job differently, I can instantly be happy. And going back to the Bible and forgiveness and everything, it really not only showed me that nobody's perfect, which I intellectually knew, but sometimes when you're in your own thoughts and feelings, you kind of lose sight of that. But one of the other big things it really did do for me is it made me realize that you don't need to see the bad karma happen to somebody that screwed you over. You really don't. And trust me, I know how gratifying that can be, is when somebody screws you over and then you witness them get screwed over and you're like, ha ha ha, good, you got screwed just like you screwed me. But really, it's not necessary. You don't need it in order to move on. You don't need it in order to be happy. And when I was really getting deep into the understanding about how everybody has their own demons, it really helped me realize that, look, not everybody's out to get you. Everyone's dealing with their own shit. And honestly, 99% of the time that somebody hurts you, I used to think it was always intentional and always just to be mean. But really what it comes down to is most of the time, it's never intentional. It's usually that you're just in the way of them trying to get something that they think once they get that thing that they'll feel whole. So you're just kind of a casualty of war in that situation. But they're just wanting to be whole just like you're trying to be whole, which is actually leads me to the whole point about you don't have to sell your soul to be successful. I think we'd all agree that if we didn't care whose feelings were hurt and we didn't care who we lied to, that we could probably all reach some sort of material success a lot faster. But I know for me personally that if I did that, I would feel spiritually broke. And that's just not how I want to live my life. You know, it really reminds me of a quote by John Lyle that says, "He who loses honesty has nothing else to lose." And I really resonate with that a lot. And all of these different components really combined and help transform the way I look at life, relationships, success, happiness, the higher self. And I know with 100% certainty, without these things, I would not be married today. I wouldn't have a house with my little penny Lou. I wouldn't enjoy what I do for work. And I would have never started this YouTube channel, which I'm actually doing to try and help people the way I was helped. So I hope you got some value from this. And if you enjoyed this video, I really hope you can gently tickle that like button if you're feeling the mood, and maybe check out some of these other videos too if you want to. Again, if you're in the mood, if you're not ready yet, if I'm pushing you too fast, too soon, don't worry. I'll still be here when you come back. Thanks for watching.